as far as success this past season, all that come together?
Well, I think just over the past couple of years, building those relationships and understanding what our culture is. I think our coaches have done an unbelievable job of, holding each other accountable first and holding our players accountable to, what we want to make sure that, we're all about. And that has been selfless, tough, and discipline. And that's something we stress each and every day. I'm sure at times these guys probably get tired of hearing those. But, that's something that's who we are. And so I was really proud of the guys this past season. We accomplished a lot as a football team, winning 9 games for only the third time in 40 years. And so there was a lot of great things that they did, but they also understand, coaches and players alike. We didn't accomplish all of our goals. We still left some things on the table that we felt like we should have accomplished. And one of those is winning our bowl game. For the past 2 years, we've made it to our bowl game. We're really proud of that in the first 2 years of making it to a bowl game. But ultimately, that wasn't our goal. That wasn't our mission. It was to win our bowl game. And so we still have a lot of work to do. I'm extremely excited about this team. Having 17 returner starters on a 9-win football team is exciting. But at the same time, everything's new. Every year's new, and they got to work for it. And I know these guys have been working their tails off.
Well, one of the things Pat Riley told me years ago when I was doing the NBA is sometimes you have to lose a championship before you learn how to win the championship. Did you learn something that maybe you didn't know before you played FAU for the title?
Well, I think every game you learn something new, whether it's a win or a loss. We ran into a really good FAU team. Coach Kiffin had them playing at a high level, and to be quite honest, they were the better team both those days. And so we didn't deserve to win that championship. And so, but it showed our guys we know how to get there. We know what it looks like. Now I think they would be more prepared to go back and hopefully have the opportunity to go play for another one.
Let's talk about your offense, because you're losing a guy, Jeffrey Wilson, that accounted for over 1,400 yards last year. Is it a replacement by committee situation?
It has to be. Losing a guy like Jeffrey, he's an unbelievable running back. He was a great teammate and really came on this past year and did a lot of things necessary to put him in position to have success. And he was a workhorse, and that's the great thing. Having 17 returner starters, that's what people don't understand. You lose a guy like Jeffrey Wilson who had 1,400 yards. You lose 3 guys on defense that were great leaders that started a lot of football games. You lose one of the best kickers in school history. So we lost a lot, but at the same time, I'm excited about that running back group. And it's going to be by committee, but at the same time, it's not only as a committee, it's as a team. It's the offensive line and the quarterbacks and the receivers stepping up and making sure they all overcome that loss. Offensive
line, because one of the problems I think you may have had last year are sacks. How have you addressed that this season?
Well, I think, first off, realizing, what the issues were and why we were getting sacked and making sure that as coaches we sit down and evaluate it first and hold ourselves accountable. Are we putting these guys in the best situation to be successful in those, in those areas, and then making sure our team and our offense is aware of those areas. And so offensive line, when sacks happen, for the most part, people look up and they blame all those 5 big huge guys up front and say, hey, we're block them longer. Well, there's a lot that goes into it, as Mason knows. I mean, sometimes it's holding the ball too long. Sometimes it's a receiver not getting off press coverage or not running the route right. So there's a lot of different things that go into sacks and turnovers. But it's really a team effort, and we just have to get much better in that area as a team.
We're going to talk about defense in just a minute, but I want to touch base now with Mason. When you came to North Texas, I saw you in the hallway, and Coach introduced me, and Graham Hill, offensive coordinator, introduced me. And I looked at you, and I thought, my goodness. And Graham looked at me and said, he played in Oklahoma, didn't have any Division I scholarships. He's got a chip on his shoulder. This kid's going to be great. You and I were just talking about an hour ago. You do and still have a chip on your shoulder, don't you?
Right. I think that's the biggest thing is playing with a chip on my shoulder. And that's what a lot of my teammates saw, is that when I came out there, I was always positive, had a chip on my shoulder, trying to prove people wrong that I could play at this level. And just a type of swagger about me. And, all these people are asking, how are you going to have an encore for this year? Well, it's just keep doing what we're doing. Keep doing how I was raised and keep doing what I've been doing. And I just have a chip on my shoulder, and I still do.
Well, and I asked some people around here, I said, define him. What makes this quarterback so good? They called you a gym rat. And talking to Seth and everything, you like to come in, you lift weights, you come back, have a second workout. And the other players are seeing you do that as one of the hardest workers. Talk about your workout routine.
Yeah, I just, I've been raised where, hard work works. And that's what's got me here, and that's what's going to keep improving me and getting better. And that's what I want to do. I got to gain weight. I got to put my team in the best situation for us to be successful. And if that's what it takes, then that's what I'm going to do. If that's putting more hours in the film room, I'm going to do it. If that's lifting weights, getting bigger, faster, stronger, that's what I'm going to do. So that's really what I'm just working to help this team win.
We're seeing some of the highlights of you actually running the football. Coach was talking about so much goes into the sacks, including getting rid of the ball. What did you work on in the offseason that you knew you specifically had to get better at doing?
Putting our team in better situations to be successful. I think there's some times where during this play I looked on the right side when I should have went to the left. So it's just looking at the defense, seeing what they're taking away, and then exploiting that. And it's also just timing with our receivers better and getting on the same page. That's really what we've been working on, is that team chemistry. Now,
one final question before I go to AJ. When I look at what's coming back, and going back the last couple of years, this is the first year you have almost, I would have to say, a full complement of receivers to throw to. Is that fair?
Right, and our receivers, they're talented, but also they're hard workers. They're one of the hardest working units, and as a quarterback, it's great to have those guys around you because they're just bringing everyone else along them with them. And they want to be good, and they're working to be good, and it's going to be exciting season. And, they have expectations. They know, but, they're going to live up to it, and they're working hard. They're a hard-working team.
Well, North Texas was 24th in the nation in total offense last season, and they're expecting big things this season. Now let's go over to the defensive side. AJ Agia, the pride of Minnesota. The first thing, though, he just got back from Minnesota. Then you come to Dallas where it's 104. A little culture shock for you there, buddy?
Yeah, a little bit, especially my first day when I first got down here. I want to say the first day of conditioning was probably my toughest day I've had in Texas, Coming from 85 and sunny, we consider that a hot day or a pretty warm day. The first day was probably 105, and we ran those 3 perimeters that we ran. And I remember just going back in the locker room with the AC on, passed out on the floor. So I got adjusted to the weather, but overall it's been pretty nice.
Let's talk about the defense, because you allowed 40 or more points in 6 games in 2017. Did you take that personally?
We definitely did take that personally. I just feel like our defense as a whole is a lot better than that. I know what we're capable of, and I know what we can produce when we're all on the same page. Communication is definitely very vital for us. So I think as long as we're communicating as a defense and as a whole unit, great things will happen with our defense this year.
But I want to put a positive spin on that. As you take a look at some of the defensive highlights right now, put a positive spin on it. You did have some close games, which Seth and I were talking about, but you made the plays when you needed to make the plays. That was, I think, a very big positive for this team.
Yeah, when it all came down to it, we had to go and finish the job. Mason does his job, the whole offense does their job, and we should be expected to do the same. To have a guy like him and all receivers and everyone on our offense go out and score points, we want to give them the best advantage to get on the field. So the more times we're able to stop the opposing offense, the more times we can get to score football. So
AJ also had 109 total tackles this past season. Now, when you look at the defensive line, you basically have one starter back. How do you look at the fact you've got to fill some holes this year, and does that put more pressure on you?
Not necessarily. We call it a reloading process. So we just bringing guys back in and working them within the defense and making sure they're all on the same page. I don't like to – the guys we had last season were definitely some great guys, but I feel that these guys this year are an even better group, and just see the same success as they will have this year. So I just feel like that'll be one of our top positions that we'll need. So
let's talk to the coach about defense. The biggest place you're going to have to show improvement this year on defense?
I think pass coverage. Last year we had a lot of really good stops early on and downs, and we get guys to third down, and we had a lot of third down completions against us, and that's an area that we've really stressed about getting off the field. You get opponents in those situations to where you get them behind the chains, you get them behind on downs, and now it's time to get off the field. And at times we just weren't able to do that, and it's a combination of all of us. Whether it starts with everybody. Up front, your D-line getting a better pass rush, linebackers hitting the blitzes harder, making sure that they're on time and rhythm and doing what you're coached to do. Same with the secondary. Just trust your technique and do the things necessary to get off the field. Coach Reffett does a great job. I'm really excited about him. This past year, it was a tougher year, and it was a challenge. I shouldn't say tough. I don't like that word. It was a challenge. Having for the first time in spring ball, having to coach 2 coaches that just got on board as well, and 2 out of the 4, and you go through spring coaching them, and then get through the summer, and then at the fall, it takes time to get on the same page. Offensively, this is our 3rd year altogether, and so But they've done a great job this spring. They really they hit it running. I thought our defense really improved this past spring. The competition was great. I think we're starting to gain a lot more depth at some of those positions that needed to be, and I'm really excited about that group, and really excited about all three areas of all three phases of the game, and I think we have an opportunity to do some special things. We just got to make sure that we come in and focus and make sure we build that same team chemistry that we've had here in the past, and so it should be an exciting year if that's the case.
Is the secondary going to be the strength because you've got 4 starters coming back?
Well, see, every year is different. You never know until you kind of get through the season. I would love to. I have high expectations for that group, but I have high expectations for all those groups and all those units, and so I am really excited about that unit. I think there's some guys that have had some quality playing time, and kind of year 2, year 3 in our system. Guys are going to have to step up, and we're going to have to make plays.
Best of luck, guys. EJ, good seeing you again. Go out and enjoy the weather, okay?
Will do.
Mason, good seeing you again. Always great to see how you guys have really stepped up this season. Coach,
you.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Coming up next, we'll introduce you to the newest coach in Conference USA. He comes from Rice.